I'm going to read one short part, and then before we get started, we'll go over the rules. The Florida statutes state that all meetings of elected officials are open to the public. You are here to witness the Board of Trustees town hall meeting, and the statutes also require a public comment period during the meeting. Up on the board, I'm going to quickly go through them if you can't read it. It asks that you complete a speaker's slip and submit it to the chairperson if you'd like to speak today. All speakers have submitted a that have submitted a slip will be heard first in random order. But I actually would like to kind of stay on topic if there's other people that would, once the topic is opened, if there's other people that would like to step up, I'd like to see you do that so we can stay on topic. After all the first speakers have finished, the floor will be open for any attendees to speak. You should line up behind the podium. Attendees will have up to 5 minutes at the podium to speak, and we do have a timer. When it is your turn at the podium, please state your name and address, then go on to your comments. Address your remarks to the chairperson, and I will recognize the appropriate individual to respond to your question, because surprisingly, I don't know everything. Do not address remarks or start a conversation with audience members. And this is difficult because you do want to lean over and start discussing this with your neighbor, and it can get very, very distracting. So if you need a discussion with your neighbor, we ask that you step out into the hall or outside, have the conversation, and come back in. Please be civil. No one is here to make disparaging remarks about anyone. We are here to find, unless it's Joe. We are here to find out what your concerns are, listen to your suggestions, and respond to any information you may want if you have it. Do not speak out if you do not have the floor. Only the speaker at the podium has the floor, and that's a courtesy thing. Do not use inappropriate language. And this one is a little strict, but I don't think we have to use it. Anyone not following proper decorum will be reminded by the chairperson to do so. If anyone does not follow the proper decorum a second time, they will be reminded again by me to do so. If a third time is needed, the chairperson will direct the attendees to leave the building for the duration of the meeting. Now, that's not occurred for a very long time. Not expecting it today. I have a thought for the day. It's kind of interesting. So, life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times. Develop from the negatives. And if things don't work out, just take another shot. It's an anonymous. Can we do the pledge? Jeff, please, would you start?
Didn't see that.
Mr. Haslam, can we have a roll call?
Yes. Chairwoman Van Bershaw.
Here.
Mr. Koloski. Mr. Amos.
Here.
Mr. Gruno.
Here.
I am here. We have Kent Chichon, our district manager, Cindy Mahalik, the district clerk, Lynn Britt, assistant to the district manager, Charles Henley, our finance manager, Kathy Mendez, food and beverage, Bill Ballish, our golf pro manager, and Matt Getz from property services. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Haslam. Okay, we're going to start. Remember to please come up and give your name and address. And we will start with Mr. Swatlow.
Rich Swatlow, 636 Marlin Circle. First, let me say our Fairwell Golf Course is the greatest resource to keeping high standards as a premium manufactured home community. The upkeep of the golf course, just like other amenities in the Bay, do not make a profit. This is fine as long as we have a balanced budget and the cost of the amenity does not put a strain on it. My question is, I know there will be a known salary increase, but there will be other factors outside of our control. For example, the recent increase of prices of imported lawn care machinery and parts and lawn care fertilizers. Also, our food and beverage prices may have to increase due to the higher foreign and domestic food purchase prices. I ask you, do you feel any of these factors could lead to a greater increase in the budget of these amenities? Lastly, up to recently, when we came to a BOT meeting, at the entry table, there was a multi-page handout with information on the past meeting, along with a summary of information on each agenda. Items along with a full page of the monthly spending. Now there is just one page with just the agenda titles on it. I feel we should go back to the more informative packet so the residents that attend the meeting would have a better understanding of what's going on to be discussed. Thank you.
Discussion?
I would think if we're trying to decrease expenses, we do have it available on the web, bbrd.org. You can get it sent to you by requesting it. But we found in the past, we printed up a lot of that stuff. An agenda can easily go 80 to 100 pages. So I don't know. I think we did that as an efficiency method.
We did it for over 10 years. I'm saying,
He is correct. The packet becomes 80,
More
10.
expensive.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a lot of pages.
okay, in that case, what about the possible increase of the golf course and food and beverage due to the increase of foreign and domestic prices?
I would like to address that. The moment we start working on the budget, it starts in January. But I think all of us here, including myself, and I know I'm a candidate, are already thinking about the budget, are already thinking about ways. I want to sit down with Kathy. I know that they all do the same thing. I will be sitting down with Kathy and be sitting down with Bill to find out areas that they believe they can improve in to reduce the subsidy. It's a major thing for all of us to consider. First of all, I would like to hear their ideas, then contribute my idea, or the rest of you the same way. So there's a lot of chewing that goes on between now and January. We are very, very aware of the subsidy.
I know the golf course is always an issue because we usually only have one person bid for the takeover to do the project. So we're sort of stuck with whatever price that they give us. And again, their increase is going to be up on the machinery parts and the fertilizers. So you think there could be, I'm just saying, a possibility of a large increase
wanna take
that
that
could
one?
affect the costs?
You take that one.
Okay, Bruce would like to take that, and if we need, Bill is in the
We need
back. We
Bill,
can have
yeah.
Bill too.
First off, the maintenance company, Brightview, we just renewed their contract for 3 years. It's a fixed figure, so we don't have to worry about that going up like we don't know about. We know about it. We have a signed contract. The equipment is supplied by Brightview, so that's immaterial also. So as far as the maintenance and things go, the only thing that, and Bill would have to answer that, as far as the chemicals, et cetera, if we get billed in excess over what was in the contract or not, I don't know that. We could ask Bill.
Let me add that 3 years ago.
Bill says no.
Yeah. 3 years ago, we put this out for bid. We did get 3 bidders. We looked at them all. We did some due diligence. I want to say, is it Sandridge that we called, and a couple golf courses south of us? They highly recommended this firm. And so 3 years ago, we did put it out for a competitive bid. And then, as Bruce said, we renewed it.
Okay, thank you very much. It was informative.
Thank you, Mr. Swatlow. John Requa. I think I massacred your name again. Johnny, okay.
I thought by now. John Requay, 908 Castro Avenue. I'm really going to surprise you on this one. because it costs money, and I'm very frugal. So I would like to look into something that would enhance the security. What I'm thinking about involves the pier, the beach, and the lounge. This is 2026. I would like to see what it would cost to have card readers put in at the gates at the lounge. I think there's 3 gates. At the pier, instead of a chain and a padlock, and at the beach, specifically at the pier and the beach, that a camera would be mounted there right at the card reader. And then we'd have electronic badges to go in and out. There'll be no key, no change. The reason I bring that up is it's accountability. I've been in security, government work for a long time and know how this works. If you badge and you go through a gate, the date, the time, and you is recorded. The camera would help at the beach and the pier because you're kind of away from everyone else in case an incident did happen or when it does happen. I mean, it's just when it's going to happen. As far as also with the electronic badge, if you have people that are barred from using our amenities because of one DOR issue or another, you could red badge them. You go in there electronically, you hit that badge not to work, they go up to the gate, red light comes on, they can't come in. Pool attendant, say, you got to go to Building A and see what your problem is. It's just automatic. It's accountability 24/7, all the time. If there's an incident or whatever, you can always go back and record that. I would suggest it does take a monitor and a computer to where it's logged and it rolls constantly. To have that put where the receptionists are in Building A, I think the 2 ladies that sit there, put it up there on their desk. You can see action all the time. You can go back and record it, print it out, all that kind of stuff. I would like us to get an estimate on that.
Kent, I know you're back there and Matt's back there, but we have previously looked into this, have we not?
Yeah, let me take that for a second.
Okay.
When we finished up the restrooms at the beach project, we had several locksmiths tell us our original idea was to use the pier key on the bathrooms. And we had 3 locksmiths tell us, that's crazy, it's going to rust, we're going to have nothing but trouble. So we decided to go with the electronic prox card out at the beach. And the idea was, and we discussed this a couple times with the board, to slowly migrate to prox cards for the front entry gate at the beach and the pier. It is not an inexpensive endeavor.
Kent or Matt,
So actually,
cost-wise?
so actually, well, we don't have cost for you because last time I think an estimate was obtained was many, many years ago on this. As far as moving forward, this is actually something that staff was going to be looking into for FY29. And for that process, it would have to be changing out all the badges to whether it's a swipe card or a tap card or something of that nature. So this is going into the future. We actually have something else we're going to be doing for staff in the coming fiscal year. So
FY29
Yeah.
because of the cost?
just some time, maybe cost, but time. It's possible we could maybe push that up to FY28.
Okay.
But we're actually going to be doing something for staff for out at the pools in FY27. So, but we haven't initiated that work yet, but we have plans.
I think, John, you brought up points that we all have, fears that we all have, and we do have cameras around the bay. We don't like to say exactly where they are because of security purposes, but I am glad that you brought it up. Thank you.
Yeah, let me add one more point to that. When we did the prox cards out at the beach restrooms, we had a little bit of public outcry about, I don't want people to know when I'm going and using the bathrooms. Yeah. So what the prox card at the beach does is it tells us just how many times the door was opened. Gives us an idea of usage. But we did have some concerns on, I don't want people to know when I'm using the restroom at the beach.
Number 1 or number 2? I'm just. Yeah, yes.
We'll have to get a keypad then.
All right. I'm going to move on. If there's, this is William, and it's about the parking. I can't read the last name, William. I think that's you. Yes. If you'll state your name and address, please.
William Pereira, live on Hyacinth Circle. I have a problem with when you come up to the intersection, there's a trailer that's on the right-hand side, and it's full of stuff to do skirting around the houses. And at night, you can't see it. And it's a double wide, and it takes up half of the road. I'm an ex-firefighter, and I've seen people hit things on the road. I don't know why it's there, and it's been there for 4 days now. And there's no reflectors on the back of it, so you can't see it.
Can I interrupt? What intersection are we talking about?
Well, when you come from the pool and you're heading up to the Four Corners,
From Pool 1?
yeah,
Okay.
and you're heading up towards the Four Corners,
On Veterans Way?
yeah, we're heading towards the Gladiolus.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, there's been a trailer there that's has skirting equipment. He's been there 4 days, and it's a wider trailer. Somebody's going to hit it at night. I've seen accidents like that. And isn't there an ordinance in the bay that you can't park your car on the street at night? Well, why is this guy able to park it there for 4 days, and somebody's going to hit it in a golf cart, and they're going to get hurt bad?
That the parking issue is a phone call to the county police, the sheriff. They are in charge of that, and they can take care of that issue. For
Well,
sure.
You have an ordinance that you can't park. I can't park my car on the street, okay?
Brevard
Or
County.
else you will give me a citation. Well, why don't you give this person a citation for parking there?
It is a
Don't leave it up to the police.
It
They-
is
they
their
got enough to
ordinance,
do.
William. It's their ordinance. We absolutely, we cannot do anything about it. They can do something about it. It is a county issue.
Okay, so I'm notifying you, so why can't you do something and call the police?
It's not our
That's
jurisdiction.
supposed to be part of your job.
Not our jurisdiction. You can dial the non-emergency sheriff number, ask a deputy to come out, but anything that deals with the roadway is Brevard County.
Does anybody have the number for non-emergency? 663-6269. And that's 7772. Can I give you that phone number?
Yes, you can.
I will do that after the meeting if you'll come up.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Richard Lepage?
Yeah, Richard LePage, 1037 Royal Palm Drive, Barefoot Bay, Florida. I wanted to thank anyway Kent and Matt for coming, getting the air conditioner on last night, but these guys worked on their own time, and I think you should pay them double time for that service that they done. Now what I wanted to talk about is years ago we used to have a courtesy cart at Bldg A in the parking lot. As you notice, there's a lot of us are seniors out here, and we're having a little trouble. Some get breathing problems and that, but they like to attend to things there. Not everybody has a golf cart where they can pull up next to, by the pool and that. So if it's a matter of money, we are a multi-million-dollar operation here. I mean, you know, if you talk and say it costs $10,000, that's $1 or $2 per month for the homeowners. That's a very cheap price to pay for this. You had the attorney here, and you can ask him ways how we could do this without getting sued. Apparently, we did get sued for a couple $100,000, whether we paid it out of our pocket here or an insurance company paid it. Mum's the word on that one. And I remember when Pete done it, there was never a problem. He would be out there, unless it was raining, to pick people up. Because you got activities Monday night, I know you have music bingo, Joe has it. You have card games going on that time. You have pool. And a lot of the seniors, that little walk is a little bit tough for them as we get older. Now, even me now, I'm walking with a cane a little bit. But I don't see why we can't do this. If it's financial reasons, you got enough of people here that have done this before, finances. I've done it for 25 years. There has got to be a way. I can show you how to save the money. Very easy to do, and I think that ought to be a courtesy to the homeowners here, especially the handicapped, because a lot of us are going to be there someday, and they'd like to go see the stage plays, or they'd like to go to the card room, or they'd like to go to the lounge. And if they can get them up close to it, it would help. And I do believe here in the Bay we can afford this, because that's for the homeowners. Not take something away from them, but for the homeowners. And while I'm thinking about, are we allowed to bring a cup of ice to the swimming pools so we can get our soda pop cold or our water cold? But apparently they go through our bags all the time. I don't know. If they're looking for alcohol, I don't know if it's ever been a problem. Or we're looking for a problem that don't exist, as far as I know. But I wish you'd consider getting that card out there for the people. I know it did work at one time, and it was very enjoyable, very easy on us to do that. So thank you for your time, and thank Matt. You give Matt double time anyway for doing that. So thank you.
I am very pro courtesy card, and I understand there are issues. If any of our trustees would like to jump in, or Kent, I don't believe it's a money issue. I believe it's an insurance issue. Kent, you want to take that for a little bit? And I know that Jeff has got some information as well. Go ahead.
Let me go.
Which one?
Last I heard on this, when I asked this question, this has been about a year ago. I too support the courtesy card because I don't walk too well either. We have only one liability insurance company. We can't even bid it out for competitive bidding anymore. So we have to be very protective of the company we have. The company we have said that a courtesy cart can run along Veterans Boulevard, but it cannot go down between the cars. And so that was the last I heard. And to run it along Veterans Boulevard is probably not going to work out real well.
Kent, is that true about the insurance company?
Pretty much. So as far as some brief history, when the courtesy cart was in service for a number of years, there were various issues, including residents getting injured on the cart. Since I've been here, we were needing to replace the cart, and that was proposed to the board at that time as an opportunity to cease that service. The board chose not to cease the service, and within 2 weeks after the new cart, we had another accident with the cart, and that totaled it. And since then, we have not gone back into service. We have met with the insurance representatives on that. They were recommending that we do not get back into that service because of the liability. And they said that if the district did go back into that service, then they're recommending that the cart would only go up and down Veterans Way, not go through all of the aisles, similar to the theme parks. The trams don't go up and down the rows, they just go up the main road, and the visitors go from their car to the main road, get on the tram, and they get taken to the gate. That's what they're recommending because of the liability.
Could we find out how much that would affect our insurance? Because just my friends alone, I know that distance is a big distance. If they just met on the corner of the aisle that they parked on, just like Disney, that's a long distance, and then you add the distance to whatever building they're going to, they're struggling. They are absolutely struggling. So if anything, can we check into the price of how much it would affect our insurance?
Yeah, I don't know if going back in the service is going to immediately change our premium. If there's another, or when there's another accident, just the history is that, it's not if, it's when there is another, then that's going to be definitely impacting our premium, because we've had those discussions. The insurance company has informed us this is a liability, and if the district chooses to take on that liability, then, knowingly doing that, it'll definitely hit our premiums at that time.
Any discussion?
I just think it's interesting they said that because the accident that totaled that cart and injured the person happened on Veterans Way.
I think the issue is the fact that you have vehicles backing in and out, you have pedestrians in and out, and I think similar to Disney, they don't want that stuff going up and down. We can ask, but the other problem is if they recommend we don't do it, and then we go ahead and do it, they could say we're not going to cover your liability costs. So
Don't they have to tell us that up front?
Yeah, they would have to tell us that up front, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think my opinion is if that's what they said, that if we do it, like Ken said, it won't raise our premium at the start, that we could only do it up and down, then that's what we should do if we're going to do it. I mean, that would be like we were just talking. I mean, Branson does it, Disney does it, it all does it that way. They don't go where the cars are. They have the one route, and we get the little stops.
It's like a bus
at
stop.
each end.
Yeah.
Right, and at least take them that far. That even helps.
I
We
know.
were out here a few years ago in a terrible heat, which was strange for November, at the election with so many people lined up. And we really needed a cart to get them from the end down, but we didn't have it.
All right, so is it something,
In the past history is that the golf cart has hit cars in the past. That has been some of the problems.
yeah? Sydney? Name and address.
Sydney James, 1442 Gardenia. As far as people who might have difficulty getting to the end of the parking row, it might be an option to change where the disabled parking permit or painting is. You could put it at the end of each row, or add some to the end of each row, so then people who maybe they could get that permit and they don't have to walk far, right? Save those for people who need the golf cart. And perhaps another option is to take the golf cart being used, if you decide to do this, and somehow trick it out so it can only go 5 miles an hour. If a cart is going a lot slower, accident less prone to happen.
Thank you, Sydney. I'd like to look into it. Would anyone else like to look into it? Can
Yeah,
we
we should- we
put it on an agenda for a meeting?
We could probably go into capital reserves because that'll be a $20,000 expenditure, but we do have capital reserve that we could go to.
Okay. We can put that out there. Kent, anything we need to do that I'm not doing right now, other than put it on an agenda?
We can put an item on that. You want a discussion item?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, if we can find out about the insurance, as much information from the insurance as possible. All right, thank you, Richard. Sydney James.
Sydney James, 1442 Gardenia. So you all were here on Thursday for your meeting. As Johnny told you on Thursday, I spoke at the county commissioners meeting last Tuesday about Barefoot Bay's high water and sewer bills. that's available to watch. Good for us. People showed up, as Johnny said, and spoke out about it. This is a somewhat complicated subject with a somewhat complicated and muddy history. I've spent considerable time educating myself on this subject, and I'm certain I haven't learned everything there is to learn. As you probably read on the press release, Commissioner Atkinson has a plan, per that press release, to, quote, roll back our water and sewage bills. I would call it not quite a rollback. Maybe look over your shoulder back. The most our bills will go down, and what I think they will go down when that happens, is by $3.89. It's only on the base rates. So for 3.5 years, we'll have savings on our base rates of $3.89 a month. That doesn't say that the usage rates won't go up. They might. So 3.5 years until we get relief. The commissioners at the meeting, and if you watch them, you will see what I saw. They seem receptive to providing relief. They, except for Kim Atkinson, ours, they didn't know. They didn't know that we are paying more and why. And it's been 27 years now, since 1999, when those old commissioners made that decision to purchase the Barefoot Bay Water and Sewer District. I have learned through my math, and I'm no math wizard, that if Barefoot Bay were currently integrated into the countywide system, our sewer base rates, which is the one that is more, not wastewater base rate, they should drop from $54.28 right now to $29.75 a month. So that's $23.30 a month we might be able to save, or $280 a year for 3.5 years, or whenever they did that. The attorney at the meeting, the county attorney told the commissioners, who seem receptive to try to help us, can't happen because, and the because was that the bond can't be paid off early, and that the way the bond is written, it won't be paid off early, and it must be, the way it's written, it must be paid for by revenue from the customers. That's us, 5,000 people paying in to this huge amount of money versus in unincorporated Brevard County versus 69,400 people who share the cost burden of 5 other plants, wastewater treatment plants. That's why it's so inordinate on us. Well, it's not, it is true that's how the contract was written. It's not a fact that you can't get out of that contract, or I found 3 possible avenues to getting help now. Possible. I would never promise it will happen. But if we don't look into it and try, it certainly won't happen. Mark your calendars. August 20th, 5 to 6 p.m. I have reserved Bldg A for August 20th, 5 to 6 p.m. And I am going to give a little presentation explaining history from what I've learned of how we got here, and constraints and possible paths to relief sooner rather than later. I have invited Commissioner Atkinson to join. I haven't heard from her office yet if she will. She probably won't. I invite the board members, if they want to show up with me and help provide any history you know. And I invite Barefoot Bay resident, owner, but especially voters to come, because it's going to be my meet and greet for my campaign, as you know I'm running. That's what I learned. Any questions? Oh, and I'm sorry, if anyone, board member or audience member, wants to RSVP, Diane, right here, will collect your info, and she's willing to send you a reminder of the August 20th 5 to 6 meeting. So please visit her.
Thank you, Sydney. I think it's a great idea.
I would just like to add that we have discussed this with our legal counsel numerous times. And what we have been told is that the bond that was taken out in 1999, good, bad, or indifferent, was written so that only the Barefoot Bay water and sewer users repay it. Now, the best of my knowledge is the reason it's not being absorbed is the other 4 commissioners don't want to put that into their districts. So the argument that you heard, and by the way, Sydney did a great job presenting it. The argument that came back from the water Brevard utilities was that this bond cannot be retired early, and we tried that about 5 years ago, and it has to be paid by the users.
Okay, that's what it was, but that's been there for a long time. This is a 30-year bond, and it only has 3 years left, okay? Well, our commissioners, starting in, I think it was 2016 or 2018 was 16, they raised their rates 100% over a 5-year period. And right around the end of that time, or actually before it ended, Mr. Tobias raised our rates another 100%. None of that has anything to do with the bond, as far as I'm concerned. That bond was already set out. The money that we are supposed to pay was already set out about how much per month that is, et cetera, et cetera. They just raised their rates 200%, you can look at, within 10 years. So I can't see any reason why them raising those rates has anything to do with that bond issue. What has to do with the bond issue is they're using that so they don't have to absorb us into the county, which would effectively lower our rates, and they keep getting this money. The first increase in 2016 was supposed to go to repair our plant, and they never did anything to it. They just took the money. So I just think you really have to watch how they're saying and what they're saying.
Good information, Bruce. Really good information. I would encourage us all to be there if we can, and especially if Kim Atkinson does show up. It would be maybe a good idea to have some of the other commissioners show up. If that's the issue of the other ones not knowing what's going on. You don't think so? Well, my point is, they can't deny it if they're there.
I've got one more thing that
Yeah,
I'd like
Bruce,
to
go
say
ahead.
to Sydney. If you want more than one trustee at that meeting, you have to have it, Ken can tell you how to do that. It has to be advertised more than a week in advance, that there could be possibly more than one trustee at that meeting. Otherwise, it'll be, we'd be incurring a sunshine violation.
Rob.
I wanted to talk
Rob
about...
Allen,
Yes,
where do you live?
Rob Allen, I live in the Bay. I live right down the street on Barefoot Circle. I wanted to mention real quick about the water treatment situation here. I know we all would be happy to save anything off of our bill. So the fact that they did a study is great, but of course, this is our government. It's their job to do those studies anyway, to determine how much we owe, when we're going to have to finish paying for it. As Bruce was just talking about, they know exactly how much we owe. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the document itself, the resolution that they had, specifically said, "Hey, we're all in favor of this as long as you pay everything that you owe," and it says it right in there. You'll pay every debt that you have. So, great, wonderful. If we save $3 a month, that's fine. If they had given me back $36 at the end of 3 years, that's fine as well. We're not going to pay any more than what we owe on the water treatment plant. Now, my concern is that now while we're all looking over here at this bauble that they're throwing around, there's some other things we should be considering. In other words, when they do eventually get around to adding us to the new water treatment plant, is that going to cost us anything?
Yeah.
Nobody said anything about it. What about the old water treatment plant? Who's going to be responsible for the demolition of that? Is there going to be any environmental remediation that's going to be necessary? And then when they are done, who gets the land? That's in the middle of Barefoot Bay, a lot of that stuff. We want to make sure. We need to know now, not 3 years from now. If we wait, we won't have the answers that we really want. So my suggestion is that we start looking into that. Those are the questions that we should be asking the county. What's going on? You know, Bruce, you mentioned about millions of dollars that just quote unquote disappeared. Well, the board, the water board, has audits, I assume, like everybody else does, doesn't it? We should probably be looking at that.
I would assume, but the water board is the county commissioners, you know.
Okay, well, again, my point is that, you know, there are ways to find out what happened to the money. You know, if we're concerned about it, we should look into it. We definitely want to be dealing with the facts, though, when it comes down to that. We don't want to wait. We need to know if it's going to cost us any money to get into the system, if they're going to charge us for the new system the minute we're in. Is there going to be a delay? I mean, does Palm Bay get their water first, and then we eventually get, you know, tied into the system? How much longer are we going to be on the old system? I mean, there's a lot of questions, and those are the kind of things that I would like us to take a look at. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my time real quick with just one more thing, and that was when we were dealing with board issues back 20 years ago, back when I was on the board, one of the biggest problems that we had at the time was micromanagement. And so I think it's important that somebody brings up and mentions that trustees sitting down with supervisors, food and beverage supervisors, any other supervisors, that's not your job. It's not your job. You're more than welcome to provide any number of recommendations, but it's micromanaging when you, as a trustee, are getting involved in the operations of the district. That's not our job. Wasn't my job back then. It wasn't the job of the other people that hung around in the administration office as far as trustees, and they did it every day. Every day. So I understand having an interest as a trustee to want to, you know, make things happen, but you can't do it by micromanaging. You can't have these long conversations with a manager from your perspective. I mean, it's something that you need to take to Kent. Kent then brings that to the managers. That's how that needs to work. We can't have trustees getting involved in district business, regular business. Have a great night.
I'd like to, it is imperative for trustees, especially when you first come in, that you sit down with each of the managers to understand their department. And that is where I'm saying questions can be asked. It is very hard to understand a department if all you have is a name. And that is one of the requirements. The moment you become a trustee, you have a whole day of sitting down with each department head so that you can start the process. And if you have a question, yes, they are open to answering it. I like to find out what their needs are, what their goals are. That's not micromanaging. That's educating us as trustees.
I was going to say, unless there are some specific examples, I don't see board members sitting down having long conversations with the department managers. I know I don't do it. I talk to Ken every Thursday when I sign checks, so I don't know.
Thank you, Rob, though, for reminding us about it.
Guess what I have, Elaine?
Go ahead, Bruce.
I have a statement that I would like to read. It says the statement that as I was a chairman for those years, I read every year with new trustees or not new trustees. I had to read it a couple times a year with certain trustees that we had, so I'll just go ahead and throw it out here. If I had stated at various meetings before, a trustee's main purpose is to manage the funds of the district and to set policies for income, including fees charged and assessments to the properties, to review the proposed budget and make sure the amounts are within the income and not excessive. The board is also charged to set the rules for the use of the amenities. The Board of Trustees were elected by the residents of Barefoot Bay Recreation District. Any vacated positions are filled by qualified candidates appointed for the board. Foremost, the board is to look out for the interests of the property owners and residents, not the employees. That is the job of the community manager and his staff. The board is also not tasked with the day-to-day operations of the district and its employees. Those operations are and should remain the purview of the staff who was hired to do that job. The district employs a special district management company called SDS. SDS is tasked with locating, hiring, and managing an employee to serve as BBRD's community manager, now district manager. In the contract we have with SDS, Section 3, Paragraph B, Item 7, is a provision that the district manager shall manage all employees of BBRD, including but not limited to the hiring, appointment, termination, and/or suspension of district employees. In Section 6, subsection C of that same contract, I quote, "It is understood by the parties that the district will provide the in-house staff necessary to conduct day-to-day activities of the district. The role of SDS is to manage the affairs of the district through the community manager as provided herein. It is further understood by the parties that SDS and the community manager are responsible to the board, and the in-house staff are responsible to SDS and the district manager." That's the end of the quote. The bottom line is, and I'm not sure if our organizational chart is actually correct, this board is at the top. We can hire through SDS and the attorney, right? SDS then has a separate line that would go to the employees and all the employees of Barefoot Bay. Our line, the trustees line, does not intersect that line. They work, everybody here, strange as it seems, worked for SDS. We're for Barefoot Bay. We have no control over that except to terminate an employee through SDS. Only one employee, and that's the district manager. We can ask SDS, we don't like him anymore, we want a new one. We can do the same thing with the attorney. Anybody else below that line, this board or any board has nothing to say to. No. That's what I would tell everybody at every year. And that contract is still in force.
That was well done, Bruce. Thank you.
Like,
Yes, thank you for that.
Margaret,
I just,
your
yeah,
name and address?
Oh, sorry. Margaret Worthington, 14 Royal Palm Drive. I'd just like to say something on the micromanagement. You know, Ken has contingency report. If he needs something done, like immediately, like let's say, hey, that air conditioner can't be fixed anymore. I need bids yesterday. You know, why we put off those type of items till next budget, you know, or anything like that. You know, let's get them done immediately. Let's not, you know, that's just a sample. You know what I mean? Of an item.
That's not accurate. We just had an issue with the Bldg C air conditioner.
I said it was an example. It's not
It's
in
not an
writing.
accurate. It's not an
Yeah.
accurate example. We do have contingency reserve funds, and oftentimes the repair will be done, and Kent will come back to the board and say, "Can you approve it?" But never is an emergency repair withheld waiting on a board meeting.
It does wait on bids. I mean, we have to go out and get people who will do the job, and
Yes.
we don't always get a response immediately. There's the problem.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
as far
that's a
as,
big concern, you know, if
yeah.
something needs immediately done, you know, it always has to go
Yeah.
on to an agenda, you know what I mean, to get approved or whatever, you know, if there's a big
and
item.
emergency-wise, we have criteria for that as well, so, to move it as fast as it can, but, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Or next, Margaret. Yes.
Alrighty, might stay up. I want to talk about the grounds. All right, we always had $25,000 on the grounds in the budget. I don't see it this year, but we've had it in the past, and the grounds are really not looking pretty. I've been coming down here since 1999. Had the opportunity to move here 11 years ago. I know we got hit with that frost, but it was even before the frost. The grounds were not looking pretty. Okay, the trees weren't trimmed properly. The gardens weren't lined out properly. Infrastructure too. You have the infrastructure of the buildings. These are things that our maintenance manager should be going around and observing. Okay, we shouldn't have to go to Kent and say, "Oh, Kent, this, you know, the shopping center really looks like heck." You know what I mean? Paint's peeling, the boards are cracking, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, it needs to be addressed before a resident sees it. Like myself, I'm picky. Maybe I'm anal, but it does look like heck. You know, it makes us look like slumlords because we do rent out space. You know, the grounds, it's not a first impression. First impression is not there. You know, it's like, it's just gardens are not defined. You know, it's like, there's for instance, since the frost, yes, the lizard died, okay, by one of the trees in front of Bldg A. You turn around, the lizard's still there dead. Okay, rake it up. You know, these are residents that pointed out to me. You know, and they go up to the pool every day. And that's another thing. The benches, for instance, they were done great. They looked beautiful, but when they sat on them, they were very rough. You know, they weren't sanded first. They were just, the paint was put on there. You know, so they said, yes, it's very rough sitting on it. You know, but they went somewhere else to sit underneath the trees, underneath the shade. You know, out in front of Bldg A there. You know, these are things that, to me, the maintenance manager should be out there. He should be riding around in a golf cart, in his car, looking around and say, whoa, wait a minute, let's get that done. You know, and assign somebody to that for the day. You know, or for the morning, more like the morning hours this time of year. You know, get them out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe 7 to 9 or something, a few hours. You know, those are things that I see. You know, I don't know if anybody else observes the prettiness of the place, but they want us to keep our property pretty. And meanwhile, there's mold on Bldg A, there's mold on Bldg A. You know, on Bldg E with card room. So, you know, these are things I've noticed. Also, about food and beverage, we're thinking about, you know, it's just an idea. You know, you have Dougie and Taco Day every Tuesday, and maybe switch it off. You know, try and save money somewhere. I know a lot of people like going up to see Doug, you know, and having karaoke and everything, but, you know, Barefoot Bay food and beverage is in the red, and it needs to go up, and we need to try and save somewhere or another. You know, it's just the idea, take them off, like maybe have them twice a week, doing music bingo, twice a month doing music bingo, twice a month doing karaoke. You know, let's knock out, you know, something like that. You know, it's just ideas, you know, trying to get this out there. You know, try and save money somewhere. Because I know there's new food menu. It looks great. I'm trying it today. I'm going to try that, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, but the more money they spent on food, you know, I know they knocked out the rustic roast. That saves time buying food, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So.
All right, Margaret.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judy Weinstock.
Good morning. My name is Judy Weinstock. I live at 608 Dolphin Circle here in the Bay. And I just wanted an update on what you found out as far as a dog park, especially with the way the weather has been. It's hard to walk our dogs at 8 o'clock at night in the streets.
I'm going to jump in on that because I have done a little research on it. First of all, I went to the dog park that was spoken about at the other manufactured homes. They have 200 and 250 homes. The size of the dog park reflects the size of the number of homes, and then they reduce that to maybe 40%. They use the 40% of those homes will have dogs. And out of that 40%, not all of them will use the dog park. But, so that park is about 40 feet by 80 feet. I went in and spoke to the administration, and she said that they have rules and regulations. There are no shepherds are allowed, no Rotties are allowed, and no pit bulls or aggressive dogs. I've been over there several times, and it's not really being used. But I did go and try to determine how they figure out the size of a dog park for a community. And for the size of our community, which is 5,000 homes, and if you put 2 people in each home, they did the whole math as far as 40% of those people. You know, it's not a whole bunch of people, but they're there. But we do need, according to the basic build, we would need at least 2.5 acres of land. Now that land can be broken up into 2 different parks, but starting from the basic beginning, because we already have grass, we don't need dirt or sand base, so we've solved all that. We do need perimeter fence, 2 double-gated entries, a water line and dog fountain, waste stations, trash cans, benches, signage. The first thing we have to do is get permits and surveys, and that cost is $10,000 to $20,000 right there. The bottom line, the cheapest that we could come out with on a basic park to fit our community would be $100,000 to $150,000. So that would have to go to a referendum anyway if we're building something. If we broke it into 2 parks, it would be 1 to 1.5 acres fenced each, and it's the same thing. The cost is $240,000 to $400,000 by the time it's done. And I know it seems like a very simple thing, like all you have to do is a fence. There are regulations by Brevard County. And I don't think we as a board, we certainly could not decide whether or not we were going to have that. It would have to go to a referendum to be voted on.
I went out to all of the dog parks in this area after that request came up at the budget meeting. I went over to Crystal Bay. That's a tiny little thing over there with about a 4-foot fence. And I just first thought that's pretty small, and it's mixed use. I went over here to the first trailer park on 1, and that area was probably 24 by 40. And that was in pretty rough shape. Went down to the next trailer park, which is Summit, which I think is the one that, the big one down there.
Mm-hmm.
That one was probably 40 by 80 and had a bench. I didn't see anybody using it. And then I went over and looked at Sebastian's dog park, and that is a Taj Mahal over there. But then again, Sebastian is a pretty big community. I too found that it would probably be about a $200,000 investment. It would have to go to referendum. I don't think there's an appetite at this time to pursue that.
Judy, I know that's not, where's she at? I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but it's an overwhelming amount of money to do so. And that's not even, then there's the upkeep per year, and that ranges between $2,000 to $5,000 each year. So there's an ongoing cost, and that's not including our insurance that we would have to, yeah. So I don't see it happening. If there's anybody that has any thoughts, now's the time to step up. Please do. Come on up and give it your name and address.
Hi, Sandy Walsh, Evergreen Street. I just want to say that it's, I don't like the fact that you're excluding certain dog breeds. It's the owners that need to be trained and not the dogs.
Oh, I wasn't excluding them.
We're
No,
not-
I
And
know, but
the
you
other
said there's
dog
3
parks.
specific
No,
dogs.
that was other dog parks that had exclusions.
Because we all have different size, different breeds, different, and it's, I think it's
That's not me.
discriminating.
That's
Well,
not me.
No, not specifically saying you, I'm just saying it was mentioned, and
Yes.
it's the owners that need to be trained and not the
Yeah.
dogs.
That was the dog park down the road that she was very clear about what their rules and regulations were. That was the main one.
Just very quickly, it all comes down to me, it's just liability. No matter what you have, when you have mixed breeds dogs or dogs that get excited, somewhere along the line, there's going to be an incident. And that incident is going to affect our insurance. That's basically what it comes down to. No matter what we like about dogs and don't like about dogs, it comes down to the cost and the insurance. And myself, I don't think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak on that? Is there any other subject anyone would like to speak on? Richard? Yes, yes.
Yeah, Richard LePage, 1037 Royal Palm Drive. I gotta agree with what Ron said. A few years back, I'm going probably 10. The worst thing we ever done here in the Bay is to do away with the homeowners association. That's the bumper between Kent and you. The homeowners, you people are the fiduciary responsibility of the money. The homeowners go to you about the dollars. Kent's job is to see that this place is maintained and we maintain exactly what we got before we spend another penny. We got the pools, pool 3, I don't know, it's been 2 or 3 years. I think you got the money there to fix it up. So is there any way you could get the homeowners association, because they're the employers. The homeowners are the employers in this place. We hire you to take care of the money, you hire a management company to do the job. If Kent didn't do his job, he's gone. If the employees don't do their job, Kent gets rid of them to make sure they're doing their job. But the homeowners are so important. Every association I dealt with, and I was from the state of Michigan, obviously, the homeowners are the bumper between what's done in their property, because we all own this property, and management. And management does the job, you control the dollars. That's how it's done. And thanks for your time. I think you guys are doing a good job. I wouldn't do it again, my life depended on it.
I think previously there have been problems with the HOA when we had an HOA that is not an HOA. They just use that terminology. I would rather see town halls increased. That's the same thing. So we have 3 of them a year. I would rather see it go to 4 a year, something along those lines. 4, okay, 4, then 5 a year. But that is the same thing. And then it's going directly to the source. You don't have a third party. It's kind of like, you know, my daughter telling the other daughter, talk to mom. I would rather you just come to the meetings. Increase the meetings then. That's a thought. Anyway, thank you, Richard.
One more thing just to add is we are also, this community, this district is run by our charter. And I don't believe you're gonna find room in the charter to have another official organization of homeowners.
Yeah, let me add on to that. I'm not Garrett, so I'm going to take a wing at it. If you look at the state statutes, there is a very definitive state statutes for condominiums. There's a very definitive set of state statutes for HOAs, and there's a very definitive set of state statutes for special districts. And like Bruce said, our charter is under special districts, and I think, and my answer was going to be the same as Elaine, your HOA is coming out to town halls like this.
Jan?
Yes, hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jan Kreitz. I live at 943 Pecan Circle, and I'm also one of the candidates for trustee. So hello, everybody. I have two really brief things. I want to get back to the cart issue that we talked about this morning real quick. I wanted to add that possibly one other thing we could add to that was have everybody sign a waiver that, that maybe they're taking on the responsibility that they could not sue or they could not do anything if they were injured. Sometimes you can sign a waiver. Anyway, maybe add that waiver issue onto riding that cart.
We'll have Kent ask.
Okay,
Thank
just
you.
wanted to add that in there because nobody talked about a waiver. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to bring up was when Sydney and I did that tent and we met people outside the pool, there was a gentleman that asked us to look into possibly adding some activities for teens and for children. He said this place has mostly everything for adults, and obviously most of us are adults, for adults and older people, and there's not much for kids to do. So if there was any way that we could add some activities, especially during the summer months, for children and teenagers, maybe a teen dance somewhere, or some kind of craft type thing one weekend, or children's activities. I don't know where to look. I don't think there's anything going on for children that I'm aware of.
There is.
There is?
LOL.
Oh, besides the LOL. He
right.
did say that.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And they do.
He did mention that,
they
did
do,
he not? But
they do have activities that they schedule.
But he said even if there's like a teen dance or something
They do.
outside, there is a dance?
They can do it. Yes,
Okay.
they can do it. They don't always have the people involved that can handle it, and that is a problem mostly. It's if you think back to your Girl Scout, Boy Scout days.
Okay.
You have people that run it, and then when you ask for volunteers, you don't get many volunteers.
Right, because we asked him if he was interested in volunteering, and he didn't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's and quite frankly, and I'm going to say this and probably get heat for it. We have swimming pools, we have tennis courts, we have racquetball courts. Those are not adult activities only. We have basketball courts, we have walking trails. It is a recreational district. It is provided for everyone. I know on our list of projects, we want to add some equipment to the youngsters playground. We have had we still have a soccer field. We don't have a net up because no one was playing.
he mentioned that these activities are there, but is there like a special night, like at the pool? Like, could you advertise a special night at the pool for
Yes.
teens?
Yes,
or
there
a
is.
special party for
Yes,
teens?
there is.
There are?
With LOL on Saturdays is a special night. Is teens.
I've never seen this advertised. I'll have to look into this.
It's all over Facebook. It is in Peak of the Week. I mean, it is there.
Okay.
And then they do, I think they have like the end of the year, end of the summer party at the big pool. They do that every year. They do a collection for school supplies. There is a lot to be done. Again, speak with Becky. I think that the lady behind you is motioning that she is part of that. So
Okay.
maybe she can help us out with some ideas.
All right,
Okay,
thank you
answer
very
your
much.
questions. Thanks, Jan.
Let me add that at the July 4th parade, your color guard was the LOL teens. And we didn't have any or many adults interested in carrying the flags. And LOL came out and said, we're there. So one of the things with LOL is they do have two divisions. They have an elementary division and they have a teen division. They have met in the gazebo behind Bldg A. It's kind of a great spot for them. On Friday nights, I've been over there, and they have a lot of structured activities for them. Our teens have been involved in both Veterans Day and Memorial Day services. If you came to Memorial Day, they folded the flag. You just have to look in the Peak for some of it. And I'll throw one more comment on there. We were approached several budget years ago to have a youth coordinator here. And at the time, there was no appetite to add a position. Just for numbers, we have roughly 250 youth in the Bay from pre-K to high school. And so that would be the numbers we're working with.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hi, my name is Diane Epstein. I live at 616 Bougainvillea Circle. And yes, LOL is alive and well, and we encourage you all to please come and, if you have something that you're passionate about, a task that you love. I'm a florist before I moved down here and decided I didn't want to work. For the last few years on Mother's Day, LOL has done some stuff. We bought wholesale flowers. Thank you, Kathy, for helping us with that. And we brought the flowers in, we solicited vases, the kids were able to make arrangements for their mothers, grandmothers, aunts, whomever it is that is important to them in their lives. If you have something like that that you guys enjoy doing, please contact LOL. We would love to have you run something like that. We will solicit all the materials. Won't cost you a dime, just cost you some time and some fun, because the kids at LOL are really, really fun. They do all kinds of stuff through the year. If you're on any of the Facebook pages, you'll see advertisements through that. We did the Easter egg hunt, the big Easter egg hunt that happens out front. LOL does that. I stuffed 6,000 eggs this year with friends. I had friends come to my porch and we had fun. But we're doing things like that. We don't necessarily, have all the kids here in the Bay who want to come and play, but also if your grandchildren are in town, they can come and play with us too, as long as they have the badges that they need to get past the pool gates, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't know about LOL and you don't know about all the things that LOL does, please, 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 please go onto some of the Facebook pages. Diane Epstein, if you want my email, I'll give it to you. You can email me later, and I will give you all the information you need to contact LOL, or at least to find out all their activities and
Diane,
stuff, because they do a great job. Sorry.
Are you also in the phone book under clubs?
I do not know if LOL is there. That's an awesome question. I will check on that, and if not,
Get it on.
I'll tell Becky.
Bring it
needs to
into the
happen.
CVO.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a board member. I got done because I had lots of company coming this summer, and that's where my priority needed to be. But please, if you guys want to just go, you can go to board meetings. You don't have to be on the board. You can go to board meetings, find out what's going on, say, hey, I'd like to do this for the kids. Cool. Especially if you have something you'd like to do during the day, in the summer. Excellent. Thanks.
I was going to quickly mention about the LOL group as well. Yep, I skipped them. I talked to them. I got an okay. So just to quickly mention that the LOL youth group, Becky writes a column every month for the paper. So if you're curious about what's going on or what activities they've got coming up, please check out the paper. She has a column in there every month. And then she also helps me with the website, barefootbay.com. So all the LOL activities are listed on barefootbay.com as well. I would mention that some of those activities, unfortunately, have been canceled because Becky had shoulder surgery. So she's stuck at home for the next 6 weeks, maybe a little longer. I actually stopped by and said hi, brought her a casserole kind of thing. I think I'm the only one that stopped by to bring her a casserole. So I'll mention that if any of you are friends of Becky's, bring her a casserole. She'd love that. But otherwise, again, the LOL group, we cover all the clubs in barefootbay.com. If you're unfamiliar, if you get on there, I've got contact information, phone numbers, email addresses. If you're curious about the information, it's all very easily found on barefootbay.com.
Thank you, Rob. John.
Well, John's coming up and get ready.
Okay.
I'll bring mine up.
All right.
I got an email this morning from a resident asking if it was legal, could we consider putting no trespassing signs up along US 1 and the pier area? So we'll have to refer that to Garrett. I don't know what the legality on that is, but part of the problem is there's going to be a Florida Department of Transportation easement that we probably can't get into. So let's refer that one to Garrett.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Oh,
John?
two things that I heard. The price, the cost of the new facility, which Mr. Fontaine, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, the director of the Brevard County Water and
We're
Sewer.
talking about the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was there on July 7th that we were at. This is what got me started. It was a town hall meeting here.
Mhm.
You remember?
Yeah, I do.
Ms. Atkinson and Mr. Fontaine. This is what drove a spur in me. I asked him directly, what is the estimated cost on the new facility when this one ends, which he calls end of life, which is 2029? As he alluded to at the meeting that the new facility would be in by then, but I don't know how that could happen,
Right.
but maybe it will. He told me, I don't know. That's a lie. I told him on the parking lot, person to person, that that's a lie. You don't build something of that magnitude, not just for us and everybody else, and not have any idea what it's going to cost. That's a lie. Number two, I confronted him at the meeting about the 4 questions that it cost me $20 to mail to him that he did not answer. One of those questions I finally got answered at that meeting. We owe $4.4 million on the bond. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the answer. And I do agree with Mr. Rob Allen on this, that we should know what the new facility is going to cost. Because in my heart and in my mind and every fiber of my body says, if you don't fight now over this issue, they're going to sock it to us on the new plant. There's no guarantee they won't. We're their stepchild. Let's just say what it is. We're their stepchild.
Red-headed.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
that. And I think, as Ms. Sidney over there was alluding to, they're starting to get the message because they were hearing, Mr. Bruce has been there several times with me. She's been there. There was some representatives from our community. I hope we see more of that. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. You have to fight to achieve something. And I'm very proud of her, what she intends to do. So that's the 2 things I wanted to answer. $4.4 million, and they're not going to tell you what you're going to pay for the new plant, which is a red flag. Thank you.
I agree.
At one of the meetings, the director of Brevard County Utilities quoted 80 to 100 million, and that would be rolled into an overall bond once we merge with Brevard County Utilities. Now, that's going back about 1.5 years, but that was what he mentioned at one of the meetings that I was at. Now, at the time, they also mentioned they have bought the ground. That's already gone through. For the sewer and water plant out on Dottie Road, county settled on that ground. They've already bought it. He did say, and I have to agree with Johnny here, I'm not sure they're going to get a plant up and running by 2029.
Yeah.
But the ground is bought, and that was the numbers he gave me.
I think what John is saying, help. He needs help. City needs help. If we're going to get some answers, we need help. So, is there anything else anyone would like to speak on? Anything that bothers you at all? This is the time. Louise? Nothing? Look, you've got someone that's coming up? If you'll give us your name and your address, please.
Sherry Green, 463 Papaya Circle. I'm calling in reference to the air conditioning in the Veterans Council. I started out yesterday with the card players at 73 degrees, and when they left, it was 79 degrees. And there is no air coming out of the vents. So I'd just like it looked into.
Yeah. Matt, were you aware of this? Jeff? Either one of you?
I just heard of it this morning.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything. I got nothing.
All right. So thank you. They now know. Thank you. Sarah, are you coming up or leaving? Come on up.
I'm Steve Warndale. I live on 1217 Calusa Drive. I wanted to just bring attention to the, I guess it's the trash pickup, where like when people put shrubs, you know, clippings off of the trees and stuff out front. I'm not sure how this came about, but they used to come by and pick this stuff up, like on a regular type base. But now, being as we've had all this dead foliage from the freeze that we had, which was bad enough, but now it's like people are trimming their trees and cutting trees and everything, and they're piling the stuff up out by the curb, and it just stays there forever. Is there something, I mean, I was told that they just all of a sudden decided they didn't want to go and pick this stuff up unless you somehow call them. But there's a lot of times where, like when they move out of a house and they just leave stuff and it gets thrown out on the curb and it just sits there for a long period of time. And it looks bad for the community, it really does. And I was just kind of wondering about
They claim that you're supposed to call them and let them notify if you have any of that dead branches and everything from the frost and everything, and you have it all cut up and everything, to notify for them to pick it up.
I know they put out a notice recently that if you throw like furniture out there, they won't pick it up. You need to call, or they have places you can drop it off. As far as large piles of vegetation, you have to call. Now, my neighbor had 2 large piles because they trimmed all their trees back. And it used to be, they say they had 5 business days. It was 4.5 weeks before theirs got picked up because Waste Management said they were that far behind because everybody's trimming their trees now.
Yeah.
The other thing is, what works very well is if you have a big garbage can and you keep your fronds to 4 feet or less, they will take that routinely on Thursday when they come through with the guy that hangs out on the back. He will pick them up. Also, if your fronds are 4 feet or less and they're in a bundle, they will pick them up on Thursdays. But if it's a big old pile, like Ed said, you're going to have to call Waste Management and let them know, because the guy on the back of the Thursday truck is not going to pick it up by hand.
I would agree. We've spoken to the gentleman that picks it up, and that was his suggestion as well. The 4 feet in the can or bundled up and tied together.
I think we had it in the peak. We could probably rerun it in the peak again.
Otherwise, you do have to call Waste Management, and with the furniture, I think you also have to pay for them to pick it up. But it is, I drive past a pile of furniture every day, and it drives me crazy. I have spoken to our DOR. They have contacted the owners over and over again. So there is something in the process that is going forward to make them do this. We can't hurry it along any more than we can. So be aware that DOR is working on it. All right?
On their website, they have listed what that they'll come and get. And you can put furniture out up to a certain size, no beds, things like that. It's all listed, but you have to call to have them pick it up. And they no longer will pick up any construction. So if you tear your kitchen out and throw your cabinets out, they're not going to pick them up even if you call them.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, because a lot of times people, they will leave a home and then they have all this stuff left, and then whoever owns a home or whatever, they just sit the stuff out. Well, nobody's going to call because nobody wants to pay for nothing. And then it just sits there forever. And I was just, curious about that, because I don't want the community looking bad.
Ken, do you know if they leave the home, they've got it all out there, and Sally Ann is sending them letters and such, is there a point where we will come charge them and pick that up for the charge? I don't know if that's even in the rules and regs there.
The district will not pick it up. We're not in that business. But if there's obviously junk that's being
Right.
left out there, that'll become a DOR issue.
Right. I was just wondering if in other DOR issues, when the lawn gets so long, they will cut it and then charge them. And I didn't know if we would do the same thing with that, but okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it should be noted that waste management is contracted by the county because we are considered an unincorporated part of the county. Things like fire, EMS, sheriff, roads, waste management, all are contracted by the county.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Don't be shy. This is the time to do it. I do want to point out at the end of our meeting on Thursday, I don't know if everyone heard it, but Kent did describe the cleanup that's going to be going on down at our pier. Kent, can you reiterate that?
Yes. Next week, we have scheduled to be down along the shoreline next to our fishing pier for doing a cleanup. There's debris, belongings from what I referred to as our unwanted guests that I believe are no longer there. Those are going to get cleaned up, removed, and then on top of that, we will be continuing the removal of the invasive species that are along the shoreline. Next week, do we have Monday?
Monday. All right, thank you. I did want to, I thought it kind of lost some oomph at the end of the meeting, so I wanted to put that out there again. Anyone else? Gentlemen, remarks?
I just want to thank everybody for coming and chatting with us and letting us know what you're thinking. This isn't an easy job, but I believe we're all happy to do it. So thanks for coming. Have a good day.
I just want to thank everybody for coming also. I know there's always been the complaints about the board kowtowing to the snowbirds on Facebook, but this Saturday session has really turned out well. Last year we had at least 40. I'm thinking we had at least 45 to 50. And this is definitely the residents. You guys are the year-round residents of Barefoot Bay. So I would, again, thank everybody for coming out. And the other thing I would thank folks is come and ask a question and get an accurate answer and not some of the misinformation that's on Facebook. Again, thanks. Great turnout today.
Well, just say the same thing. It's a great turnout. I'm really glad we could have this on a Saturday and enjoy a nice dialogue with the residents, not like that, what's that Facebook thing, where screaming and hollering goes on constantly. This is very informative, hopefully both ways. We learned a lot from you all, and we appreciate these meetings. Thanks.
I agree with the rest of the board members. Thank you very much for coming.
Again, this is a delight to see people out here. But I want to remind everybody, July 25th, a representative from the Sheriff's Department will be out here, correct? To talk about the pier situation, Kent? Is that still happening?
It is still happening, yes.
It is still happening in Building
A
at... Come on, Kent.
It's on my calendar.
It's on-
So, Cindy,
4
do you
o'clock.
remember what, do you remember what it
4 p.m. Building A, the Sheriff Department will have a representative out there explaining the situation about the concerns going on the pier and no trespassing and all of that that mess that is out there. If you want to know the actual facts, please come. He will be there. So Thank you all for being here. This is rewarding to us to have you come out and express what you need. So I'm giving you applause. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.